Peace and greetings to all my fellow Aborigines out there, to all my fellow American Indians out there. I really want to discuss this topic about the next generation. As I can see, it's like nobody's really covering this subject, and it's very, very important because the way I see it right now, it's going to be a continuing cycle if we don't educate our children the proper way starting right now. We have too many fathers and too many mothers that want to be boss niggas and bad bitches. And that's the mentality that's circling around our children. And then when they go to these school systems, they learn a whole bunch of bullshit about how they were slaves and a whole bunch of nonsense that's not preparing them for the world to come. And I think it's time to start preparing our children to be self-sufficient at a young age. Start learning how to garden. Start learning how to filter water. Starting a fire. Start learning how to making your own clothing. Start learning how to prepare food. Start learning how to identify certain plants, certain herbs that you may need. Start teaching these children how to be self-sufficient, hands-on. Stop depending on these school systems to educate your children while you go out to the club or while you buy the new Jordans that's coming out, or while you're worried about what Shanae said about Laquanda. You know what I mean? It's time to really concentrate on our children and the next generation because they are what truly matters. Every time I turn on my social media, every time I get on my social media, I see so much. I mean, it really bothers me, you know, because people are so they're so brainwashed. They really don't really see what's going on. They really don't get the bigger picture. And now we have to watch our children suffer because of ignorant parents not wanting to educate their children the proper way. You know what I mean? And it's so crazy. Like, we really need this in our community. We really need our children to start learning while they're young so that they can be owners and not employees. That's the main goal. That's the main objective for our youth. We don't want them to follow the same mistakes that we made. We don't want that to happen. I don't want it to happen. I don't want that to happen for any of our children. Any of our children of the original people, the so-called misclassified African American. I want us to climb about this rabbit hole. I want us to climb about this mental oppression. It's not hard. If you don't want the information, at least please give it to your children. Think about their future. If school never worked for you, what makes you think it'll work for your children? School never worked for your parents. Kindergarten through to 12th grade all the way through college teaches the same old bullshit. It teaches you how to be a slave. It teaches you to depend on a system that's meant for you to fail. It's not meant to build you up. It's not meant for our people, period. When you get sick, where do you go? You fly to these doctors. And the same people that gives you the sickness, you go right back to them for the cure or something that's gonna suppress the sickness, because they don't really cure anything. Because if they actually cured something, it won't be no need for this business to stand. You know what I mean? We got to teach our children to be their own medics, because we might not be there and the doctor may not be there one day. So what if your child falls down, or what if your child gets sick, or what if? Start asking yourself, what if? What if everything just disappears? Something happens that, doctors and these pills and all this artificial garbage just goes away. What if? What are you doing to protect your children? Are you out there learning each and every herb and plant? Because that's the true medicine. The earth made its food and medicine at the same in one. The food is the medicine. But yet we depend on somebody that's a lower animal, a monster. Like Ballantine said in the law dictionary, a human being is a lower animal, is a monster. And we are above a human being. Our DNA matches the chlorophyll in plants. Our DNA is so powerful that you can literally blow an entire continent up just with our plasma. That's how powerful we are. But you got our children running around eating candy, which is plastic. You read the ingredients on those candies, it'll blow your mind if you actually did your research on that shit. Candy, cakes, pies, chips. No, all this garbage that we constantly feed our children. Meat. You're not supposed to digest meat. You're not a meat eater. Milk. Only milk that your child should be consuming is the milk of a woman's breast. Their mother's breast. That's it. Milk is not good for you from a domestic animal like a cow, which is blood and pus inside of that milk at the same time. You just don't know it. And it's killing you. It's stopping up your arteries. It's giving you arthritis. It's giving you cancer. It's giving you so much disease, because it's so much filth that's built up inside of your body that's killing you. You can ask any grandma or great grandma, were these sicknesses around during that time? And they would tell you no. Why is that? Because they ate healthy. They ate off the land, right? They didn't depend on Walmart. They didn't depend on Church's Chicken. They didn't depend on McDonald's. They didn't depend on these corporations which are designed to kill. They didn't depend on these places. And it is sad when I just look, because I'm just sitting here and watching the parents destroy themselves. And in the act, they're also destroying their children because your children look up to you. You're their savior. You're their everything. You're their seed, you know? And I don't think people even just sit back and think about this. Women these days think it's a curse to have children. Oh, I don't want that many children. Please don't wish that on me. Please don't wish no child on me. And the men, they knock up a woman just because of her looks and then take off because guess what? He can do that, right? And then get mad when he got to spend 6 months in jail for child support. It's a whole system designed for the Aboriginal woman and the Aboriginal man to bump heads. It's designed for them to split up. It's designed for our household to split up. And in the midst of it, the children are suffering. The children are now starting to grow up in a society where people are saying it's okay to be a homosexual. Let me tell you, it's not, absolutely fucking not okay to be a homosexual. It's not okay for you to be with the same sex. That's not how nature made you. That's not what nature wants. Stop following these fucking filthy ass, man. Stop following these parasites. They're leading us into a fucking shithole. Deeper into a shithole. Start taking better care of your children. Start looking out for your children. It's people out here that's adopting children, taking their organs, doing all type of insane things that you couldn't even imagine to our children, because we are so careless and so selfish that we don't care about the very seed that we produce. We're just like a fish out of water. We are our natural element. And if a fish out of water cannot think, the first thing the fish out of water wants to do is get back to that water. We have to get back into our natural environment. Every time you look up, it's a jet spraying the sky, polluting the sky, trying to make it cold. Our body, our melanin, carbon inside of our body, we need that sun. But you have these parasites spraying the sky because they can't take it. They can't take the heat. They can't take that radiation from the sun. They're not natural, and they're having you believe that you're not natural as well. You don't believe that you're natural. You don't believe that you came from the earth. You don't believe that you are nature. The very plants around you carry the same genetics as you. It's time to start teaching our children the proper things, the proper fundamentals of life. Stop letting your kids leave. Stop leaving your kids around. Spend time with the children. They really need you in their life. The kids are out here wandering, lost. They don't know where to go, where to turn. Because their very parents, their mother, their father turned on them. And you know how much that hurt, man? Most of us grew up in a household without a father. Most of us grew up without a mother. Some of us don't have neither one. The father want to be a player. The mama don't want no responsibilities. And it's crazy, man. Don't bring a child inside of this world if you're not ready to take care of these children. These children need you. These children need all of us. Please stop abandoning your children. Please be there for them. They really need you. I want to start my own school programming that teaches the children the basic fundamentals that they need to survive in this world. Because going to school and obeying somebody that put you in a position in the first place is not going to get you anywhere. And it might land you a job to build up their corporations, to keep making them look good, to keep making them oppress you. You're putting them in a higher status every time. Why? Because nobody ever taught you the basic fundamentals of life. How to survive off the land, which used to be a natural instinct. In every one of our DNAs is a survival instinct. And every one of our DNA is something special that we all hold. Every Aboriginal child, the original American Indian, hold something special in their DNA that no one can take. No one can steal. We just need our parents to lead the youth in the right way, because they're really suffering without a proper role model in their life. They always got to depend on a pale female teacher. You know, we come out with a special ability and aware of the world like no other. We learn 10 times faster than any race. But when we put these chemicals inside of our body, it dumbs us down. You know, it restricts your thinking. So we got to learn how to put the right stuff, proper stuff inside of our body. We got to learn how, and once we put the right stuff inside of our body, everything else will fall in place. We will learn how to unite with each other again. It's not about competing. It's not about who has this and who has that. You know, it's about coming together and all sharing what we have. Lead our children into a better future. If something didn't work for you, don't put that same task on your child. If you fail at something, you should have learned from that. And so you can teach your children not to do that. This is the basic fundamental of life. And our children really need that. Our children they need real guidance, man. These parents, man, every time I see it, it just makes me sick, man. Our children really need real guidance. They don't have that, man. They don't have somebody to talk to. You don't believe in your children's dreams. You don't believe in what they can do. When you see them creating something, you tell them, stop it. Don't do that. When it's their natural ability to create. It's their natural ability to be in nature. It's their natural ability to run free and wild. And make new things. Make the world better. That's their natural ability. But because you've been lied to so much and you've been damaged so much, you put that same strain and frustration on the child. So now that the child will grow up in such of fucked up mentality. It's just crazy, man. And then when these children go to school, when y'all put them in these school programs, y'all agree with all types of things. Y'all don't like to read through things and try to understand what's going on with your child. Why do my child need to be in special ed? Why do my child need the ADHD medication? These things are not for your child. There's nothing wrong with your child. Your child does what a child does. It's just that since this pale teacher can't take it, or your child seems to be more advanced than the rest of the children, it's something wrong. So they hit him with all these disorders and disorderly conduct and all this dumb shit, you know, when in reality, it's not your child, it's them, making them look bad. So that's why I say we need to start our own school system, start educating our own children again. I think, in my opinion, it was better when it was segregated because our children were advancing 30 times faster than any other race. So that was part of the intermixing right there too, because now that you can put your children in their public school system, and then they get to dictate your child's way of thinking. Your child, basically, they get to dictate your whole child's life, their future, instead of them learning from the source of which they came from. They get to learn from a foreigner, and the foreigner get to tell them anything that the foreigner wants them to know, which is nothing, which is bullshit. And we just got to sit back and just keep watching this over and over and over and over and say, I can't do nothing. I don't know what to do. That's how things supposed to be. Get the fuck out of here. If you don't see the greatness inside of yourself, man, nobody else will. You got to believe in yourself. We don't have to sit back and we don't have to sit back and accept this mental abuse. There's things we can do. There's laws that protect us as the American Indian. All you have to do is research. If you research, you will find out Martin Luther King, March for the Rights of Indian, everything that these so-called black leaders were talking about benefits you. You're the Aborigine. That's what Malcolm X said, right? Stop putting this weave and stuff on your child at a young age, making them hate their own appearance. It's bad enough that you go run and support the Chinese or the Arab. You support the Hispanic. You support everybody else but yourself. It's bad enough. You should that should be one of the first things you should want your child not to do. But a lot of our people don't do any thinking at all. They just let everybody else dictate their whole life, and they just roll with it. If you don't care about yourself, nobody else will. If you don't want the education, please let your children get the education. Does that make sense? Please, my people, please educate your children. Teach them the basic fundamentals of life. Let them be the boss. Let them dictate their own future. Let them be great. Don't let them fall into those chambers of hell. Don't let them fall into that dark pit. You should have that covered up by now. How many times we done fell in that pit? That should be covered up. It should be a clear path for our children to walk now. Come on, please get it together, y'all. The children need you, and we need our children to keep our generations going so that we can always